Hello YouTube, my name's Al Cooper and this week I want to talk about Strat upgrades. So I've got my Play On Toys R Us £15 black Strat in front of me and I'm going to show you at what point I am with it and why. So I've done a little bit of weight relief to it, and it's not got any strings on, so here's what it is. Okay, so this video is basically about plywood versus wood Strat copies, Strat guitars, Strat bodies, however you want to phrase it. I bought this guitar, or rather, I bought this guitar with a broken tuner for 15 quid from a local charity shop. All the electronics on this work, there's not a problem with the switch or anything. The pickups are fine. The bridge is fine. I've put the old saddles back. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. But to be honest, the real prize for me was this neck. Because if you want to buy a second-hand Squire neck, they'd run you second-hand, well, it's going to be second-hand, isn't it? They'd be about 35 quid, 25 to 35 quid at time of recording. So, I mean, in essence, if I wanted to just use the neck, which is what I've ended up doing, I'm still quids in on it. So, this body is in fact plywood, and I've decided that because the body is plywood, I don't trust it. So if you followed my channel for any length of time, you may be familiar with the custard caster. That's kind of a custard yellow plywood Strat. It's a shine Strat that I had years and years ago. I got it in a trade for a Dean. I was told that it was an older body. I was told it had turn rider pickups. It has a very nice, it does have a very, very beautiful flame maple neck that sadly is twisted. It's got a twist on it like that, so it's not even straight. I want to experiment maybe one day with getting the twist taken out because it's a very, very nice neck otherwise. But the custard caster is dead. And if you remember with that one, the neck pocket on it, around here, it had taken some sort of force going like that at some point on the neck, and it had completely screwed the neck pocket, and it had just been crumbling and falling apart. And there's not much you could do about it. So, I was looking at this body, I was trying to figure out whether this in the back, whether there were router marks or layers of plywood, and I don't know if you can see in the light. I'll try best to capture it. It's really, really hard to capture on film, but I can see it in the light. You can see kind of layers going down that way. And if you go on the edge, you can see lines going down it. I don't know if this will come out on camera, but you have to trust me that you can tell. So, and then the neck pocket is most obvious as well. And these are not router lines. They are very prominent ridges, and it is made of plywood. So what is plywood? Plywood is when you've got thin layers of wood, and then one goes that way, and then the next layer has the grain going that way, then the next one has the grain going that way, then they're going that way. So it makes it sort of very strong, but it's very, very dense. This is a very, very heavy, really, really heavy body. I know it's got the hardware on it, but honestly, it's really, really, really heavy for a Strat body or any sort of guitar body. So I decided that because it's plywood, and frankly, do you know what? There are Squires made in the 80s, the Korean ones. They're apparently absolutely fine. There's not a problem with them, but I don't trust plywood bodies, and I also didn't feel that it was worth upgrading this guitar as it was with the plywood body. So obviously I've taken this. I'm going to sell this on for about probably, I don't know, 35 quid or something, 30 quid, something like that. All working. All you've got to do is pop a neck on it. You know, someone will have a Squire neck, they'll pop that on it and then give it to little Timmy for Christmas, and he'll have a gay old time. So that's where that's going. And I managed to get this off a guy on Facebook that I've bought a few things from, so I trusted him. And it's a basswood body. Still a black Strat body, but you can see there's no lines or ridges. To be fair, there's still ridges in the paint at the top, so I think that's just the way they painted it. But you can see in the neck pocket, that is solid wood. You can see in all the routing, it's very clearly not ridged, it's very clearly wood. So I trust this. I mean, it's a hell of a lot lighter. It really is a lot lighter. So I would trust this as well a lot more than the plywood, not to crumble at the neck pocket with the neck being secured in. And say if the wood did split or whatever for any reason, it would be a lot easier to glue it rather than try and glue plywood, which just crumbles into dust. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the neck that I got effectively for 15 quid. I'm going to sell the tuners, Vanson tuners. These are drop-in replacement tuners for bullet squires and any other sort of very, very cheap Strat. They're 15:1 ratio, and that's kind of vintage Clusen style ratio. It's not 19:1 uber accurate, but they're really, really rather nice tuners, and they are miles better than what was on here before. Honestly, these are fantastic drop-ins. If you've got a squire and you can't be asked to get someone to drill it out for the different Clusen style or whatever, you just want someone to drop in, I really, really highly recommend these. They're about 20-25 quid. Really can't go wrong. So this £15 neck, bear in mind this is the neck where the edge of the fretboard was lifting and I had to glue it down because it wasn't properly glued down. And I can see that it is most definitely properly glued down now. This will be going, and it's not perfect by any means. It's got a couple of, come on, light. It's got a couple of knots in the wood, and I can feel this knot a little bit, just slightly, so I might file that down at some point. But it's a nice satin feeling polyurethane finish neck, which fits. I mean, there's quite a bit of play in this neck pocket, but once it's glued in and I shim it around the edges, that I won't have a problem. So I would trust this setup a lot more than I would the plywood body. I'm planning to get an anodised scratch plate for this as well, by the way, just a gold one, because I don't like black Strats with white pickguards particularly. It's just, how many of these have you seen? My first ever electric guitar, was a Strat copy that looked pretty much exactly like that, you know, black Strat, white, cheapy electronics and all that, rosewood neck, and I love that guitar, but by Christ was it a dog. It really was. The volume pot was overheated in the factory, so it crackled all the way around. It was just it being cooked by a soldering iron, basically. The pickups were really noisy. Oh, everything wrong with it. So I want to avoid that look as much as I can. I don't want to invoke that image. So I'm thinking an anodized gold scratch plate would look pretty cool on here. Maybe I'll have some white pickup covers, and I've got some Roswell pickups, I've got some Wilkinson pickups, so they'll hopefully be going into this husk at some point. I believe the body is an IRC body, or the guy who sold it to me reckons it was an IRC body. He's not entirely sure. IRC made the brown Strat with the nice veneer top that you've seen on my channel a few times. So this is a full thickness body, by the way. I've tried a Wilkinson bridging and the trem doesn't stick out of the back. So it is full Strat thickness. So that's the plan. That's what's going on with the black Strat. Again, there's nothing wrong with this. It's going to be perfectly functional for someone. But again, I don't trust plywood. I can't bring myself to trust plywood, and the weight difference is really. This is about a third as heavy. Sorry, 2/3 as heavy as this. This is about a third heavier than this one. It really is quite significant. And when you pop a neck on and you pop all the hardware on, it's going to make a massive difference. So let me give you a close-up. If you can see both neck pockets, you can really see the layers of plywood versus the regular wood. I mean, the routing on this isn't amazing. It's a little bit a little bit untidy in place, a little bits of flash that just sort of painted over, but I'll just pull them off. I mean, there's no conductive paint on the inside. I'm not going to bother getting this shielded. I don't really care about Strat hum. I've tried the shielding thing with a Korean Squire that was plywood body, funnily enough. I ended up selling it, wouldn't intonate, but I've tried the noiseless pickup thing and I don't like it. It wasn't the same. So just honestly, take the hum. This is going to be fine as is. This I'm going to sell on. All the cheap pickups and all the hardware and all that on it is perfectly functional. Nothing functional. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So this is going to be flogged on to someone who's going to use it. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe they'll give it to a kid or something. It's a nice idea. Maybe they give it to their nephew for Christmas or something, but it's not something I can do. So there you go. That's the difference between a plywood guitar and a solid wood guitar. I mean, the plywood should be really strong, if a bit brittle like a biscuit, when it's already broken, as in, talking rubbish. What I mean is, when it's broken or crumbling, it's a hell of a lot harder to shore up or repair than solid wood. So there you go, that's my plan for this Strat. Well, not this Strat anymore, it's going to be this Strat. But there you go, that's wood versus plywood, and a little bit of a heads up on what's going to be happening with the Play On Strat. So, thank you for watching. My name's Al Cooper. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense, and I'll see you next week when hopefully I'll be doing some more pedal reviews. I have delays, I have tremolo, I have distortions, I have a fair few pedals that I want to get through. So, they'll be upcoming in the next few weeks. I'll probably try and space it out, do a bit of project here and then a pedal there, just to mix it up a little bit. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Al. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense, and I'll see you next time. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye!